All right. Hey guys. So it is Monday, February 17th. I don't even know how that's happening. Like, I legitimately felt like January was taking forever, and it's already more than halfway through February. So before we get into our topic for the night, I want to just quickly um, go over the Spring Break on Us promotion that was dropped today. All of the exact details will be in your email, so you can go through that. But just so we kind of brush over this, Paul has said in many, many calls leading up to this, free accounts, free accounts, free accounts. And a free account, for those of you that might be new, that just means when somebody sets up a user account or a customer account. So it's not that they purchase anything, it's just where they register their email and create a Lavelle account. And so I love this, that they're offering to, they're paying a certain dollar amount and it doesn't matter where you go. So if you want, if you've already booked a trip, you could earn this money now and be recouped. Or if you haven't been planning a trip because you didn't have the cash, this is something you could go for. So it's based on free accounts. And again, like I said, all the details are in your Cloud Office. So make sure you click on it and read it. And please make sure when you're reading it, you read all the fine details. The promo runs from the 17th through the 29th. It says achieve 20 plus new free personally enrolled accounts. Free accounts above 20 since January 1st qualify. Free accounts will be verified by corporate. So in other words, don't be making fake accounts, because they're not going to be doling out $5,000 to only find out that there's, your neighbor's cat is getting Thrive. All right. So anyway, it's a super good promo. I love, like I said, I love that it's open for anybody, and I love that it is, you can go anywhere with it. So that is the only piece of housekeeping that I thought of before this started. So I'm going to dive right into our topic. Last week when we were on our Zoom, Samantha threw out at the very end, like a back to the basics idea. A couple of calls that went on through corporate with Paul were very geared toward back to the basics. And then Sandra even sent me a message and she's like, I think we just need to talk back to the basics. And I agree. And I think it's because we meet weekly, in an effort to not be redundant. I'm always coming up with different topics and things to talk about. But in reality, what we do does not have to be complicated. You don't have to come up with a Pinterest account. You don't have to join groups. You don't have to do all these things. These are just ideas that we have. So tonight I'm going to talk about truly the basics. To be a Lavelle promoter, what are the basics? And I think this is so beneficial, because even just when I was writing down my notes, sometimes we have a way of making our job harder than it needs to be, or getting ourselves overwhelmed. And for those of us that have been doing this for a while, sometimes I think we subconsciously do that to make it exciting, but it could be very overwhelming to somebody who's just coming in, fresh off the street. So I had to think back to when I was brand new and I literally knew nothing and no one around me knew anything and we were just winging this, what did we do? So the first thing as a promoter, you can't sell anything to anybody if they don't know about it, right? If somebody, you can't buy something, you yourself cannot buy something if you don't even know it exists. So your job as a promoter is to talk about the product, talk about what it's done for you, share the information with people. So I wrote down just some real simple things that we as promoters can and should be doing. Number one, wearing your DFT where it can be seen. Now, I am super guilty of this in the winter because a lot of you on here live in this fabulous state of Ohio. I burn. I don't necessarily want a sticker on each, hand or whatever. So sometimes it's covered, but I really just need to get better about, even if I just cut up half of a regular DFT and putting it someplace when I'm going out in public, because wearing your DFT is the cheapest, easiest, quickest, fastest, but that Sonia's showing hers. That's just the easiest way for someone to be like, what is that? What's on your arm? So yes, I did in a training just tell you to wear your DFT loud and proud. That is the basics right there, right? I don't care if you have a stellar Instagram account. If you're not wearing your DFT out in public, you're probably not going to make new contacts. Invite people to events, whether that's a live event where they get to meet people and be around other Thrivers, or even a virtual event. Invite people to these things. Let them know what's going on. Will they go? I don't know. But if they do, it could be magical. I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to Lisa Fuller today. She was on Maria's Zoom. And she even said that when she first started Thrive, now, and for those of you that don't know, you can look up Lisa K. Fuller on Facebook. She's definitely one of the company's millionaires. She even said that her family did not support her. And when she started thinking about the fact that her mom and her sister, the two people who she went to first to tell about this product that was changing her life, didn't support her, she thought, I probably shouldn't do this. I should probably just quit. And her upline said, just please come to this event. And after this event, you still feel like you should quit, then quit. But it was because the people who she knew and loved weren't open-minded and didn't like what she was doing. She felt kind of in that like, okay, this doesn't belong in my life. But then she entered into a room full of people who had experienced health issues, energy problems, wealth issues, and then this product had changed their life. And suddenly she was in a room with other like-minded people, and she realized she was in the right place and she was doing the right thing for her. So just because somebody is willy-nilly doesn't mean that you still shouldn't invite them. Them coming could be the thing that totally turns that around. She went from going to quit because her mom and sister didn't support her to now being a millionaire. And she didn't talk about it, but I'm going to guess her mom and sister probably thrive now. They probably had to put their tail between their legs. And then just always sharing information with people. Again, they can't order it if they don't know what it is. And I think there have been several times where people have said, you know, like, I feel like I talk about it a lot, or I have posted about it a lot, or I've shared about it a lot. I've talked about my Thrive or my jumper cables or whatever. But when it boils down to it, some people don't really even know what I'm talking about still. Like, I can't tell you how many people are like, okay, well, what is Thrive? Because they don't actually know what it is. They've maybe seen a picture. They've maybe thought they heard something about it. So sharing with them information. And so we have so many ways to share information. There's obviously the Facebook fan page on the Le-Vel Facebook fan page. Le-Vel has a blog. If you haven't been on the blog, that's a great source of information. It's a great little blog because they talk about all kinds of different topics, but they actually will sprinkle in the products. I mean, you don't even have to do it. They do it for you. You can just Google Le-Vel, L-E-V-E-L blog, and it'll pull up. They have an amazing YouTube channel, tons of videos that you could share. They have a great Instagram account. They've definitely built their Instagram account recently. Thrive in magazine. So they actually have the physical magazine. I should have pulled one off my shelf for you, but they have actual physical magazines, but they also have a Thriving Magazine website. Again, Google it. It's a great way. I don't find myself in the position a lot where I'm handing somebody a magazine, but I could email them. But you know what? Now that I've said that, I do want to backtrack really far, far, far back. Almost 5 years ago, when I was first approached about this product, and I was like, no, thank you. It's not for me. I don't sell this kind of thing. When I did finally order, I got my hands on a copy of one of the Le-Vel magazines. And I just flipped through it one night. And I think Susan Kaufman might have actually been in that one at the time. And it was all these stories about people feeling better, but it was also all these stories about people who had left corporate America, retired and brought their husbands home, paid off all their debt. And there was definitely a spark lit in me, and I would not have gotten that had I not gotten the magazine. So sometimes it's really smart just to buy a pack of 10, split it with 3 or 4 people on your team if you don't want 10 magazines. If you could literally hand somebody a magazine and be like, I only have 2 of those, so when you're done, can you let me know and I'll get it back from you? That puts a little urgency in their butt to read the magazine, and then you have it to pass on to other people. So as much as I love the interwebs and I love a great Instagram photo and I love stuff like that, sometimes sitting in bed at night curled up and flipping through a magazine is maybe the thing that would trigger someone. There's 1,000,001 calls that happen in our organization that you could be sharing. And there are also a lot of recorded calls. Like when I say calls, I'm talking about Thrive Experience calls. So yes, we have a lot of training and things like that, but I'm talking about where somebody has interviewed a new Thriver, or maybe not even new, but a person using the product and just said, hey, how did you feel before? How do you feel now? That kind of thing. Those are, again, something that you share with someone. They might not even tell you that they're listening, but 3 or 4 months from now, they might say, you know what? You shared this call like way back when, and I listened to it, and the one girl said, And that really triggered for me. And I've had that happen to me where I've sent stuff to people or I've posted something and I could have sworn nobody got on the call with me, or I could have sworn nobody was on the Facebook Live or the Zoom with me. But you guys have to remember, a lot of times people will do it in a recorded fashion after the fact when they know no one can tell they're on there and they really are listening and paying attention. So just know that your job as a promoter is to share information about the product. It doesn't mean that you're all up in people's face. It doesn't mean that that's the only thing in life that you talk about. But you have to remember, nobody can order a product that they don't know exists. So it's your responsibility to make sure they know it exists. And it, like I said in the very beginning, it could be as simple as just wearing your DFT loud and proud so that someone can say, what's that thing on your arm? What's that fancy Band-Aid? I mean, I've had a million questions from people. And then probably the absolute most important thing that you need to know as a promoter is your story. So many times people say to me, well, what do I say if somebody asks me this? Or what do I say if somebody asks me that? Well, number one, if someone says to you, what's that on your arm? What would you say your story in 2 to 3 sentences would be? I'd be like, oh, that little sticker, that's what helps me get it all done. I was falling apart till I found that little sticker. You're not telling them the whole story, but you're giving them a little synopsis. But you need to know your story for a couple of reasons. Number one, you got to share it with people. How I will never forget how I felt. For me, it was on like day 12 or 13, waking up and feeling rested. I will never forget that feeling because it was so crazy weird. And that's my story. That's not the whole thing, obviously, but that's a part of it. And so the more you share your story, the better you're going to be at being able to take your story and gear it towards what someone needs, which that's where it becomes really important when you start making yourself available for 3-way chats or 3-way phone calls. If someone says to me, hey, Tammy, can you hop on the 3-way chat with my friend? She's just turned 40. She's, dragging during the day. She has put on a little bit of weight, whatever background they give me. Now I know not to go through my whole story about maybe how we have a business and I was struggling to get all that stuff done. I might talk about how I was getting ready to turn 40 and how things just weren't the same as they used to be. And I was wanting to take naps all the time. So the better you know your story, the better you're going to be able to snip it down to what it needs to be in the moment for someone that's talking to you. But your story is who you are. That's who you are as a promoter. So I'm going to just give you a couple of things that you could think about when it comes to your story. Number one, do you have your story recorded somehow? You could record it on your phone and upload it to YouTube. You could record it, do a Facebook Live sharing your story and it's automatically going to be recorded. Do you have it written down in some way, sort of fashion where you have sent it off to Lavelle to have it published on the fan page? Don't underestimate that, you guys. Samantha just resent hers in. And I know it's been shared a million times. I'm actually holding it in my back pocket, trying to wait till it dies down a little bit to share it again. But I think I've shared my story 4 times now, at least once a year with Lavelle. And so I don't always share the exact same story. I maybe share a spin of the story. And, one time I talked about how it helped us with our business. One time I talked about how much fun the free vacations were. Just whatever you're feeling in the moment, but share it, because when it actually gets published on the Lavelle fan page, we all know that Facebook is Facebook, right? Like there are tons of fake things on Facebook. But people put so much emphasis on Facebook. And so when they're like, oh, Lisa Cook's story got published by this thing on Facebook? Wait a second, this must be real. She's been talking about it for years and she seems to feel great, but now this makes it real to me that I've seen it published on Facebook. So don't underestimate that. And you don't have to write 89 pages. Please don't write 89 pages. Pick a couple of highlights and spit it out, throw in a great picture and send it. And with that said, when you send it, if you don't hear back from them within a couple of days, resend it. They get so many stories. It's hard for them to keep up. And so if yours doesn't grab their attention right away, or they got too many at one time, you might get buried. So there's been once or twice where I've sent it and not heard back right away. And then when I resend it, they're like, oh, it's like they've never seen it before. So just keep sending it. It'll find its way to the page, I promise. But the other nice thing about having a recorded version of your story, maybe it's just your voice that you've recorded on like on a voice memo or whatever you want to call that on Messenger. you can send that out to people really quickly. So let's say, like for example, last year when we were coming back from Jamaica, no, yeah, I met a girl on the airplane, and she was a photographer, super cute. She was like in her 20s. She did wedding photography. She was so fun. And so we just chatted, obviously. What were you, why were you there? Why were you there? She was taking pictures. I was there for my company thing. We're big Instagram friends now, all that stuff. But she asked me finally not too long ago about that Thrive thing that I was talking about. And you guys, I wasn't, I wasn't like super busy that day. I'm never too busy to do my job, right? But I said, "Oh, I'm super packed today, but you know what? I got this little video I made a while back. I'll send it. You can watch it." So I don't have to rethink what am I going to say. I don't have to sit down and do it. I literally just said, "I'm super busy. Here's a recording I made a while back." So for me, I just take my recordings and put them on YouTube. You guys, it's all free. If you don't know how to use it, that's fine. Learn how to use it. I didn't know how to use it. I just started clicking buttons until everything fell into place. Or in that example, if you did a voice memo and somebody said, "What's that Thrive thing?" and you already have it recorded, you don't even have to say you're too busy. You just shoot your recording over. You've already got it in your voice. It's you talking, and again, it doesn't need to be a 17-minute thing. It just needs to be within that 1 minute time frame, a snippet of, what it is and why you use it, like to get the conversation started. Anyway, so we have to educate people, and I don't mean educate them on like the value of prebiotics and how much calcium, blah, blah, blah. I just mean they need to know it exists. If I came to you right now and said, "Did you guys know that there is a vacuum cleaner that you can literally just think about while you're asleep at night and it will take care of your whole house and make no noise?" You'd be like, "Holy moly, I would like to order that," right? But you didn't know about it until just now, but it doesn't exist. I just made it up. But you get my point. Somebody out there is saying, "My God, I wish I had better energy. Why can't I sleep at night? Why can't I think straight during the day?" Somebody out there is saying it, and they don't know about Thrive. And they maybe even heard about Thrive from somebody in passing that said, "Oh yeah, I lost 50 pounds on Thrive." And they may be like, "Well, I don't need to lose weight. I just need to sleep better." So it's our job to put out all the things that Thrive can help people with, and throw that big, we talk about casting that big net. It's our job to cast that big net all the time. So yes, you can share your story, but for example, I'm not a mother. I have fur babies, but I don't have like baby babies. So if somebody was saying to me, "These kids are driving me nuts. I feel like a bad mom because I'm not sleeping and then I'm yelling at them." Like, you know what? Let me hook you up with my friend Olivia. She can talk to you about this. Because I don't have to be the person who knows everything, but I need to know people in my group that can help. Does that make sense? So know your story, know other people's story, share information of just all over the board, right? Okay, so on a day-to-day basis, what do we do as promoters? Well, I can tell you what I have done from day one. The name has changed as time has gone on. When I first started, we called it the Calendar Challenge, and now it is referred to as the 5-4-3-2-1. But basically, it's just the daily tasks that we do. And I cannot break our daily tasks down any more simple than saying, "Start conversations." Start them. That is your only job as a promoter. Start conversations. So you're in a business that is called network marketing. It's just all about growing your network. So the more conversations you start, it's like a spider web. The more conversations you start, the bigger your web starts to get and things start to cross. So I want you to think about, you're out to dinner on a Friday night with some friends, and they mentioned that they've decided they're finally going to remodel their bathroom, but they don't really know who to call. And you're immediately like, "You know what? I know a plumber. I know a guy. We used a guy, or my friend used a guy, or my parents used a guy. He was great. They loved him. Let me get that name and number for you." That's because you somehow got brought into that plumber's network. And so you thought of that. So your idea, or what you need to be doing is becoming into someone's network. So for example, if someone else is out at dinner and they're like, "You know what?" They're telling their friend, "I'm not sleeping good. I'm struggling so bad, blah, blah, blah." And maybe that friend isn't thriving, but she's like, "You know what? I just read on Tammy's page the other day that she's got this stuff that's been helping her sleep. I'll connect you to her." That's all we do. We are one connection away from somebody. So you have to remember, when you reach out to people and they say no to Thrive, to like you specifically, that is okay. Everyone is either a customer or a connection. And so just like in my example I gave you, we didn't use the plumber ourselves. I didn't have my bathroom redone, but someone I knew did, and they were happy with that plumber. So I became a connection for that plumber. I connected someone new to that plumber. So as long as you're out there talking about what's happening in your life, how this product is helping you, things that you've learned along the way. You know, I think a lot of people, once they start using something like Thrive and they start taking care of themselves and they start drinking more water and they start getting more sleep, you start naturally learning these things and you're sharing what you're learning. So for example, I don't know exactly how it went down, but I had reached out to Samantha Cox's husband because he worked with my husband at the fire station. I didn't even know Samantha existed. I'm not even sure that I knew Russell was married when I reached out to him. I just shot him a message because I knew he worked out and I knew he liked protein and supplements. And somehow the story goes that Sam was struggling and, you know, praying that something would come to her in the form of energy. And Russell said, you know, Russell had already told me no on, you know, he had replied to my message, no, not interested. I'm good with whatever I'm using. Thanks, you know, blah, blah, blah. But he heard Sam asking for that and said, hey, you know, my friend's husband, or wait, my friend's wife, I'm a wife. So anyway, he was my connection. He wasn't my customer, but he was my connection to her. So again, because I had reached out and I had added Russell to my network, it brought Sam full circle into our network. And let me tell you, my business wouldn't be half of what it is if it hadn't been for Samantha. So you never know who your next connection is. I mean, I think that's one of the best examples because I feel like everyone else on my level ones, I feel like I knew them. I didn't even know Sam existed until she literally walked into my house with her daughter one night to learn how to promote. Anyway, best story ever. So you're just one connection away. So you want to make sure you're the Thrive girl. You want to make sure you're the person that they're like, oh, you're wanting to lose weight. My friend Lisa can help you with that. Oh, you're wanting to get fit and healthy. Oh yeah, that's right. Sonia's been talking about that a lot. You just want to be that person. So again, that's why it's super important what you're putting out into the universe, how you're presenting yourself, how you're, you know, and again, you don't have to be an expert by any means. You just let your light shine, let your freak flag fly, what the heck ever it is, like be who you are so that people can come to you. The last thing I want to talk about before with just the basics. So basically the basics, I've spent a lot of time, I've spent 23 minutes talking about wearing your DFT, connecting people through stories, knowing your story, doing your daily tasks, which just goes back to starting conversations with people and connecting those people. So now let's say you've got somebody, right? Wait, I got to back up. We don't have somebody yet. I skipped ahead. So we started the conversations. You're sharing all the information. You guys, if you don't get someone's email information and get them signed up under you, somebody else will. If you haven't had that happen to you yet, hold on tight because it will. Someone that you have been thinking of or that you've even sent information to, maybe you've even offered them credits, but you never got their email to create a customer account, they may run into somebody out to dinner one night, or they may see somebody set up at a health fair one day, and they may be like, that's the stuff I've been learning about. Yes, this is what I'm going to do. And they might order from someone else. So when you are talking to someone, when you're starting the conversations, obviously when you're starting a conversation with someone, it's not necessarily Thrive related, but, oh, my husband just walked in the door. Oh, that's pretty calm. I thought there would be like massive barking. So Lisa Fuller, again, today, she talked about the rule of 10. When she has been in 10 conversations, when she's been in the messenger or text messaging, whatever, with someone 10 times, if Thrive or Lavelle has not come up, she will say, oh my gosh, I can't believe we've been talking this, you know, these last couple of weeks and I totally forgot to tell you what I do. Bring it up. And anytime someone barely like looks at you sideways and says, what's that DFT? Where is it made? How much does it cost? All that stuff. Get their email information, get them I call it a user account. Some people call it, I think we've talked about this before. You can call it whatever you want, but it's a free account for them to get all the information they need. I even tell people, if you want to peek through the catalog, I have to set up a free account for you. A lot of times people want to peek through the catalog. They want to see prices. They want to see options. And you can't do that until you have your free user account. So make sure you're getting people signed up. There once was a time when I first started, and I don't remember how long it lasted, but somebody could have given me an email and signed up, and then they could have given Sonia the same email and signed up. So there once was a time where we had a lot of duplicates, but that can't happen anymore because they're pretty strict about that with, one email per account. So get the information that you need and get them in. Like when I'm telling you to add people to your network, like legit lock them down in your network, get them in your cloud office, make them part of your team. Okay. And so then the other thing that we focus on, not with, customers from there, I'm going to act like this is conversations we've already had, because we have. Once you have the email, once they're asking questions, where do they go? They go in a group chat. That's it. I cannot even talk about that more until my face turns blue. I just had a girl tell me the other day, she was so excited. So-and-so got a sample pack. And I was like, oh, awesome. Is she in a group chat yet with me or your upline? No, not yet. Okay, great. Put her in one. I don't know if she wants to be in one yet. I didn't really ask that. I just said, put her in a group chat. So she didn't put her in a group chat. I have no idea how her sample's going. I've reached out to the promoter and said, you need help. Has she responded? Have you asked her how she's doing? Oh, I've been so crazy busy. My kids have been sick. I haven't even followed up with her. Exactly why you put them in a group chat. Life is going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen in your world. If they're in a group chat with, let's say it was this person and me, and I knew from Facebook that her kids were sick, I would reach out and say, hey, so-and-so is very busy right now. I just want to follow up. I know you got your sample pack. Please ask me questions, whatever. But now I have no communication with this customer. I don't know if she took it right. I have no idea. We have no idea because somebody wouldn't put her in a group chat. So remember, group chats are not weird or rude or whatever it is people think. It is a gift to your friend. It is a gift to your client. It is a gift to your promoter. Gift them the service of others. You are not the only person that can help them. Most likely you aren't the only person that's going to have to help them. I have never been the only person to help someone. It's always been a group effort. Maybe I'm training somebody, or maybe I don't know the answer. Give them the gift of a group chat. So that's it. So get their account, get them started, put them in a group chat. And really after that, it's hard to say what to do next because it becomes personal at that point. I don't know, is this person that you just put in the group chat, are they wanting to lose 50 pounds or they need to lose 200 pounds? Do they have medical conditions that we're working with? Do they have allergies? I don't know. So it's really hard to say next, but that's why the group chat's so great, because now we get the real conversation started about the person's health, about the person's goals, and that's where we can go from there. And then also, same thing, if you have someone talking to you about the business, I'm going to say it, put them in a group chat. There is no other way to do this. You guys, I just realized there's chats on here and I've not been. Okay, I've actually been going through our team's stories on Facebook and writing down highlights of each person's story so I can better, very good, better direct potentials to specific people. Nice, Olivia's making basically notes about who's who on the team, of who suffered from what or got energy from what. Courtney says, I literally sent a voice memo to a girl last night who was a mama but wanted energy, and I used Samantha as an example when I was telling my story. I saw my friend who was a mom, super active kids, and she was always so happy and had a lot of energy. I wanted what she had. And she's like, that's me. And she ordered. Again, Courtney didn't necessarily share all of her story. She shared someone else's story and connected. Sam says, best thing that ever happened to me. I'm going to assume when Russell told you about Thrive. Courtney says, and she was a referral from her sister-in-law that I've reached out to multiple times. Oh, sweet. The perfect example. So the person who Courtney was chasing down was just turned into a connection, which is awesome. And now you never know. Now that the other girl has ordered, the sister-in-law may very well be like, I want some of that. So I hope I'm making this simple because we're hitting the 8 o'clock mark. Just share what the product does. People cannot buy it if they don't know it exists. Now, with that said, you guys know when somebody's all up in your face and they won't shut up about something, it literally makes you purposely not want to buy it. right? Like somebody could say, hey, if you buy this duster, it's magical and it'll clean your whole house without you even having to pay attention. But if they're all up in my face telling me, I'll be like, you know what? I like to dust myself. Okay. So treat people the way you want to be treated. You don't have to be all up in people's face. Just share what's going on, find out what's going on for them. Remember the rule of 10. I'm not saying that when you reach out to someone, you have to be like thrive, thrive, thrive. But if after 10 conversations, it's not come up, they've not said, what are you doing or how's it going or, whatever, then you bring it up. And the example they give is that, gosh, we've been talking so long, I haven't, blah, blah, blah. That might work for you, or maybe it's going to be something to the extent of, I don't know, something like, what'd you guys do this week? And I was crazy busy. I had my first ever Lavelle event. It was so great. I'll have to tell you about it. Like people are going to respond to that. Like it's something you did or something I'm going on my first trip, whatever, just you bring it up. If they're not bringing it up, you bring it up. And then your daily tasks, again, you guys, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, if you can get that done every single day, is it magical in the fact that all of a sudden like customers fall out of the sky? No, because that'd be amazing. But it is magical in the fact that I've literally been doing a version of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for almost 5 years now. And I have a very solid business. And I would much rather have a solid business than a flash in the pan, right? So do I have to reach out to people all the time? Yes. Is it hard? No. Does it feel hard sometimes? Yes. But I do it anyway. Because you know what? I get paid really well to do it. And you guys can all get paid really well to do it too. All right. So that's the basics. We're not even getting, crazy or fancy here. We're wearing our DFT. We're sharing our story. We're putting people in group chats and we're doing our daily tasks. I could have done the video in 30 seconds, but I didn't. All right. So anyway, I'm going to hop off here. Tonight, Susan Kaufman asked me to lead her Freedom Thrivers Hustle, I think now is in part of the name. Anyway, her training, and it's at 10:15 Ohio time. So I'm going to put my popsicle sticks in my eyes. I'm going to stay open for it. But tonight we're going to talk about non-negotiables. That was the topic of her choice. So using non-negotiables to operate your business. So if you can't stay awake till then, I totally understand. It will be live, so it'll be recorded. But if you can, then that would be great to see some familiar faces too, because it's a little nerve-wracking doing somebody else's team stuff. So anyway, you guys are the best. I will see you here again next Monday. If you need anything, let me know. Bye.